Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy Clement, a health and wellness consultant, and I'm very passionate about healthy living. I believe that it's God's purpose that we live a life of abundance, and that includes good health. So on this channel, I talk about health issues. I also cook healthier dishes, that's why I'm in the kitchen, and I also raise awareness on the issue of fibroids. But today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today we will be looking at the role of our emotions on our well-being. What happens when we go through emotions like heartbreak, disappointments, betrayal, when we go through sadness, grief? How do they impact on our well-being? The reason why I decided to do this, to talk about this topic or this issue, is because my friend lost her mom and she was denied an opportunity to bury her mother. My friend contacted me one evening and she told me she was going to Africa, and I'm not going to mention the African country. And she told me she was going because she had lost her mother. Before, we had spoken like a month or 2 months before, and I knew the mother was very unwell. So the following day, I contacted my friend to check whether she arrived in Africa okay, and to check on the progress of the funeral. And I remember my friend telling me that she had cried a lot because some members of the family had decided to bury her mom in her absence. Actually, she was buried quickly enough for my friend not to be there, not to be present. And it was heartbreaking. I know it's painful. I know the pain and the grief of losing a family member. I do not understand or comprehend the grief of being denied an opportunity to pay your last respect. So this was her mother, and some family members decided to punish her because they felt that she was not sending them money. And just to clarify, about 6 months or before her mother died, my friend had been to Africa about 3 times, including spending time with her mother at the hospital. But some family member felt like, she did not send them money, she was not buying them gifts, and she needed to get some punishment. And that was the punishment she got. And at that moment, I decided I was gonna talk about this issue, the misconception among Africans that when people come to abroad, when people come to Europe, when people go to United States, that they become instant millionaires. They become instantly wealthy. This is a big misconception that has got a huge impact on our relationships. It's damaged, it's broken families, and it's affecting our health. When our relationships are broken, that impacts on our health. And this is why I decided to talk about this topic, because I am passionate about healthy living, and I believe that it's God's purpose that we live a life of abundance. I'm not here to paint every family and everyone with the same brush. No, I believe my family is understanding to some extent. I remember when I was new in UK, I did call in the first days of coming to UK. I remember calling my dad and having a candid conversation with him. I told him the good, bad, and ugly of UK. I wanted to completely clear this misconception. And I believe this misconception is what brings a lot of problems with expectations from families back in Africa, So the little money, or the money that people get in Europe, it takes them blood and sweat. This misconception that people got money, it's like there are no trees in the streets of Europe. There are no trees in the streets of United States where people go plucking pounds and dollars. People sweat. It takes blood and sweat for everybody to earn a pound, to earn a dollar. it takes blood and sweat. So this demand for money from people in Africa, and as I have said that it is, I'm not here to paint every family with the same brush. No, but there's a big percentage of people who have been caught up in this misconception, and this is why I've decided to talk about this, because it's impacting on our relationship, and anything that impacts on our relationships definitely impacts on our health. So there are some very sad stories I've had. My friend's story is probably the worst, because I know my friend and I knew throughout the journey of her mother, even before the illness, and it really broke my heart. But besides the story of my friend, some years back, I knew of a guy young man without a family, who had saved money, returned to Kenya and found that the money, I think he was sending to the mother, that the money had been squandered by the family, and this young man committed suicide. And I believe there are many stories like this. I've heard of more stories. I've heard of stories where people went back to Kenya and they lost their mind because they found all the money they were sending has been misused by their families. I've had stories of relatives in Kenya faking cancer, even somebody fakes, a particular person says, oh, the auntie has cancer stage 4 and is asking for money from relatives abroad, and it is not true. This is actually, it's not true, which is very sad. The things, I have never seen a giving people like the people in diaspora. They're always willing to support their families. There are people in diaspora who send money to set up businesses for their relatives, who educate children. I have paid school fees, and I would pay in even more. People in diaspora are very, very giving, but little are they even appreciated. And the reason is because the expectation is that there is more money. So if you're sending school fees and you say, can you please buy your uniform? That is bad. You're supposed to be doing everything, So the root of this misconception, and this is not a problem of one family or two families. It is a misconception within in Africa. And I'm now going to look at the root. Where is the root of our problem? And the root of this problem is colonialism. And I will quote Dr. Arikana, who was the African Union ambassador to the United States. And this is what she said in one of her speeches. Before our colonizers left, they did something which was deplorable. They set out to let Africans believe everything African is bad and everything Western is better and more desirable. This is the legacy of colonialism. We will treat the white people better in our own countries. And we believe that everything in US and everything in Europe is the best. So when I spoke to my dad, I told him there are homeless people here in the street. We have homeless people, even homeless Kenyans, so homeless Africans in Europe and United States. So this misconception need to be addressed. We need to get over these fantasies of a country where you land and you are instantly wealthy. We need to get over that misconception. This is why, and this legacy of colonization is the reason why a plane leaves Kenya carrying avocados, goes back carrying Indomies, and because it is exported food, mothers are busy in the kitchen cooking for their children products they don't even know what they are, just because it came from abroad. We need to decolonize our minds. We've been left fighting one another. There are people who cannot go on holiday from Europe and stay at their home in peace, because there'll be the people who come to break their house because they think you have a lot of money. We are fighting one another over something that does not truly exist. Most of you will know the story of Gogi wa Thiong'o, when he came, a renowned author, writer. When he came on holiday for the first time, he was attacked. And this is on news. It's something that is recorded on all newspapers. And it was planned by relatives, you know. So we have these grudges have been created against people who have gone abroad because they are not sending money. And we have grudge because we have high expectations. I've met people who, I remember quite some years back, I asked a friend, when are you planning to go to Kenya on holiday? And I still remember I was shocked by her response. You know, Jerry, how do I get the money for buying all those people gifts? So there are people who can actually afford a ticket to come and say hello, to come and interact, meet, relationships, come and meet their family. But they can't do that because the whole village will be waiting for gifts. You know, I looked at the meaning of a gift. And a gift is something given willingly. But you find when people go to Africa, everybody is waiting for a gift. We really need to really deal with this mentality. I remember when we were growing up, we were told it's bad manners to go asking people to buy you sweets and ask them for gifts. You could not even ask your uncle to buy you a sweet or something, because we were told it is bad manners. So when did it stop being bad manners to ask for gifts from people who have come from Europe or United States? Some people will ask for the clothes you're wearing. They will ask for the shoes you're wearing, literally your handbag. This is not right. A gift is something that somebody buys for you willingly. And I'm not saying we should not buy gifts. I have bought gifts. But it actually becomes a nuisance. It becomes, it's like people take advantage of others. And that is hurting emotions. There are people who, when they go to Africa on holiday, they have to live like fugitives. You're avoiding this cousin to see you. You don't want this auntie to see you. And there is a community, when we relate to one another, it is good for our well-being. It is very important for human connections and relationships. It is important for someone to go and see their auntie and meet this cousin, but this unbelievable, the expectation that you actually can afford to buy gifts for everybody. This is a mere a misconception. It is this belief that there is a lot of money in abroad is a mere fantasy. The other root of this problem is our community setting, the way our communities in Africa, we grew up in communities. We support one another, which is a good thing. By the time I finished, I got to uni, my father had retired, and I have been supported by all my siblings, have contributed towards my school fees at some point, I think I wouldn't say school fees, but pocket money, and maybe a little bit of tuition fee, but they have supported me because that's how we live in our communities, and it is a good thing. And as I have said, I've also paid school fees for someone who is not my child, but because it is family. But this community setting or community spirit has created something called entitlement mentality. Just because your brother has gone, your older brother or one of your brother is now gone to abroad, you are entitled to so much. And the demand for gifts becomes a nuisance. So we need to get over this. People in abroad, they are living normal lives. The way I look at it, if you have a family member who has left from Kenya, they've gone to London. And you have a family member who have left from Nairobi and they've gone to Mombasa. There's not much difference. There's not much difference. The person who has gone to UK is busy trying to make, to make ends meet. They have families, they have their ambitions. They want to invest for themselves. They have their own aspirations. But this demand, it's like these people do not actually have a life of their own. And this is why the people feel like they need to demand from people. And this has created grudges. And these grudges, they have a negative impact on our well-being. Problems, illnesses and conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, depression, and many others, including skin problems, are all connected with our emotions. What we think, how we think has affects our health. I remember I'm reading a book that was saying, just like germs can kill, emotions can kill. This misconception has made cousins disconnect. I remember speaking to my friend's daughter saying, oh, auntie so-and-so is always asking my mother for money. So even before the child gets to meet and know this auntie, she already knows this auntie is putting unnecessary pressure on my mother. And it is not right. The idea of wealthy, instant wealth in abroad, in United States, in Europe is mere fantasies. The Bible says that, I'm going to quote the Bible in the book of Proverbs 28 verse 19. The Bible says that a hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. So if you sit there, keep talking about your relative in abroad who was supposed to send you this, who should have done this, that is mere fantasies. You know, and also there's another verse in Ecclesiastes that says, whatever your hands find to do, do with all your might. There's something you're doing. If you put your energy on your relatives abroad who should be sending you money, where focus goes, energy goes. So your energy will be there. So you spend all your time talking about your relative and how much they are not sending. But if you invest, you know, if you focus your energy on whatever you do, God will bless you in whatever job you're doing. And I'm not here to say we should not support one another. It is a very positive aspect of our community. We live in communities and it has a very positive impact. But it becomes abused when people start having these unrealistic expectations. How is one person expected to go on holiday and be expected to buy gifts for everybody? You know, everybody needs God brought all of us here on earth for a purpose. And you can't have that your purpose is to wait on someone else. So we all need to address ourselves. What am I doing? Whatever we do here, I believe that we are all co-creators with God. God brought all of us here for a reason. So whatever job you're doing, know you're doing for God. This is what God has called you to do. So do it with all your might. Don't do it half-heartedly, expecting, oh, my cousin, oh, this was supposed to send money. If he sends me money, I'm going to invest. And they're so unrealistic expectations. I've had people who will ask people to buy them cars. Before you'll be asking somebody in Europe to buy you a car, while that person in Europe has not even afforded themselves a bicycle to go to work. You know, I've also had for some people who will be asking for shoes that only celebrity can afford. So you'll be asking for your relatives in abroad to buy you things that your own children you cannot afford to buy for them. These are mere fantasies. And they are affecting our relationships, and they are also affecting our health. And this is where I come in, because as I said, I'm passionate about healthy living, and I believe that we need to safeguard our health. And I'll do another video in which I'll go into details and explain what happens when we have these emotions. But as I said, they have an impact on our health. And the Bible says that a hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. These expectations that somebody in abroad is the one who is going to save you, or should have helped you, or should be helping you, is mere fantasies, because the person in abroad is trying is building their own life. You know, nobody can wake up every day to go and work to buy gifts. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. I hope you do find value. And if you have been affected by this issue of expectations, of misconception, of entitlement. Feel free to share with me your comment. And as I said, we have good community settings whereby we support one another, and we need to take care of this, because the person supporting you is giving out a lot of energy. A lot of their energy. If someone is sending you school fees, someone is sending you money to do something, you are actually draining them. So let us have gratitude, and let us go easy on the expectations we have. So if you find value in my video, feel free to share it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Give me a like on the video, and also click on the notification button so you know when I have uploaded a new video. Until next time, God bless you, and bye-bye.